NETIS Group Accounting and Finance Team. Presented by Fahim Haddad. Who is an account payable or cashier? As the name suggests, an account payable or cashier is a person who deals with cash and handles checks. There are many organizations such as banks, schools, hospitals, shops, and many more that deal with cash and check transactions. And these are places where there is a need for an account payable person or a cashier. The job of a cashier includes many things, and it is the job of communication, honesty, sincerity, and accuracy. Procedure statement. Purpose. The purpose of this training is to outline the basic procedures and functions of the cashier or account payable. This procedure applies to all staff regardless of their level or seniority. Procedure, processes, and actions for payments and inflows. Accountabilities. The roles and responsibility under the account payable or cashier's payment procedure can be observed as follows: checking daily cash account, cash withdrawal, cash payment, check payment, online payment and transfers, cash receipt, check receipt, online payment receipt, reporting and filling of documents. Let us take the following into detail. Handling cash and check transactions. Check daily cash accounts, tallying cash. Before the start and close of work, the cashier must first balance or prepare to count the physical cash in the cash drawer or safe. Counting is usually done first thing in the morning and the last thing at the close of day. Before counting starts, all cash must be grouped into bills and counted differently to avoid mix-up. Denomination of cash counted must be written down in ink so that one does not forget his or her count before finally summing up. Cash must tally or be equal to book balance after the counting session is over. Cash withdrawal. Petty cash or impressed funds are provided to enable departments to make cash conveniently available for minor business expenditures. The preferred method of reimbursement is by a properly documented and authorized check. The cash is then redrawn from the bank and received into the impressed office by the cashier, whose primary responsibilities for the petty cash funds are safekeeping, distribution, and accounting. The cash fund and receipts are to be maintained in secured storage or cash safe with access limited to the cashier or account payable person at all times. Cashiers will be expected to reconfirm the amount of petty cash fund under their control when requested to do so by the CEO, and also summarize cash withdrawal requests to arrive at the total reimbursement request. Note: the sum of your reimbursement request and the remaining cash on hand should equal the amount of original impressed fund or cash book balance. The establishment of strong internal controls for cash receipts or disbursement is necessary to prevent mishandling of funds and to safeguard against loss. Internal controls are also designed to protect employees from inappropriate charges of mishandling funds by defining his or her responsibilities in the handling process. Cashiers must therefore ensure that all cash requests must be properly documented, approved or duly signed by the requester, department heads, and the finance manager or CEO. Details of requests must include date, full name of the requester, and clearly state the business purpose of the cash request. The cashier will then proceed with the payment when the request is approved by preparing provisional cash sheet with full details and printed out for the CEO to approve before cash payment is done. Note that any cash paid must be written down in denomination on the cash payment voucher and signed by cashier to serve as a double checking. On the other hand, the requester receiving the payment must also sign on the payment voucher, full name written, signed, and completed with date. A check is a document that orders a bank to pay a specific amount of money from a person's account to the person in whose name the check has been issued. The person writing the check, known as the drawer, has a transaction banking account, often called a current account, where their money is held. The drawer writes the various details including the monetary amount, date, and payee on the check and gets it signed, ordering the bank, known as the drawee, to pay that person or company the amount of money stated. Before a check is written or prepared, some documents need to be put together before presented to the accounts office for payment to be done. These documents include purchase requisition form, purchase order, pro forma invoices, sometimes goods receipts notes, and purchase order from clients. The check is then written clearly to the organization name on the purchase order, the valid date, the amount in figures and in words before the check payment voucher is prepared. The purchase order and the payment voucher is then added to the check, presented to the CEO for signing and distribution. Online payment and transfers. Unlike check payment, online fund transfer is another way to make payments to clients or transfer funds within the organization bank accounts. Online funds transfer is done by sending detailed letters printed on company letterhead, signed by the CEO and the CEO to the bank of interbank transfer or transfer to clients. Note that transfer letters also order the bank to pay a specific amount of money from drawer's account to the beneficiary account. The drawer writes the various details, which include subject, the monetary amount, date of invoice, the beneficiary's full name, and bank account details. The letter also states the particular account the drawer wants to be debited, especially when the organization has more than one account at the said bank. An entry is needed when cash is received either from a staff or from a customer. When cash is received, cash receipt voucher is prepared and printed out for signing. Cash received could either be refund or from a client. If cash received is a refund, then the cash receipt voucher must have details of date cash was paid, purpose, and the person returning the cash should be clearly stated for reference purposes. If cash, on the other hand, is received from clients or services rendered, then the account receivable officer must be notified for payment receipt to be prepared, signed by the CEO, which is then used for the preparation and attached to the cash receipt voucher. Suppose a business provides design services and has received cash of 4,000 cedis from a customer. The cash receipt needs to be credited to the customer account's receivable account, thus against the invoice number of the said job done. Income is recorded only if a customer pays by check for a service rendered and you are ready to take the check to the bank. Before check receipt voucher is prepared, as usual, the account receivable officer is prompted for the payment receipt, which has details of work done, customer invoice details to be prepared and signed by the CEO, which is then used for the preparation of the check receipt voucher. A copy of the check must be attached to the check receipt voucher together with the payment receipt. The narration must be simple and have every detail on the received check stated clearly on the voucher. Note that copies of the check must be attached to the vouchers at all times. Online payment receipts. Just as check receipt, with online receipts, the account receivable officer is hinted by giving a copy of the bank statement that has evidence of funds received or remittance advice through mail to be used for payment receipt, which is in turn used by the cashier for the preparation of the receipt voucher. Reporting. On daily basis, all transactions for the day, including bank charges and reconciliation, is transferred to a master sheet for reporting. This is mainly in Microsoft Excel spreadsheet format. On the report sheet, the cashier must make sure every transaction is accurate and true, and that all balances, being it cash or bank, is right and matches with the various bank statements of the organization. Every transaction on the report sheet must be arranged date-wise and in order for easy interpretation or analysis purposes. The report is then sent to the CEO and another copy to the account payable officer responsible for updating accounting software for the organization. Filing documents. All documents, being it payment vouchers, receipt vouchers, transfer letters, and others, must be filed immediately in the appropriate file folders labeled accordingly.